I was on a train coming back from Nashville.
I was in Indianapolis, Indiana, campaigning with Robert Kennedy.
Sitting in the home of Ralph and Myrtle Ivy watching NBC News.
I was sitting in the Marriott Hotel in Atlanta.
I was at my home on Larchmont Drive in Atlanta.
40 years ago, we invited Martin Luther King to come to Memphis.
I had spent the day in court testifying in support of sanitation workers in Memphis.
I was a reporter on the staff of the New York Times newspaper.
I had the great privilege of spending the last hour of his life on earth.
This was really my first major assignment in the South.
It was three guys hanging out.
My whole day was built around, I'm going to have another interview with Dr. King today.
After spending the day in the courtroom, I came back.
And one of Martin's favorite story was, and favorite phrases was, "Where is Andy?" You know, has anybody seen Andy?
He said, "Where have you been? Don't you leave me here. I'm the leader of this movement. You have to keep me informed. I bet you've been slipping off around here somewhere." And he just went off.
He was in a great mood, lighthearted.
It was getting late in the afternoon.
And then he picked up a pillow off the bed and threw it at me. And then the next thing I know, everybody was grabbing pillows.
Finally, I'm beginning to see that we're not going to have a chance to talk.
They were getting ready to go to dinner at Billy Kyle's house.
And he knocked on the door and said,
"Guys, come on, let's go.
You all are not ready yet. It's almost 6 o'clock.
We have a rally tonight after dinner."
He left his room and went upstairs to put on a shirt and tie.
And Ralph and Martin wore Aramis cologne. They were known by that Aramis.
And he said, "Martin, I forgot to put my cologne on."
Ralph stepped back in the room.
We were up on the balcony.
I was down in the parking lot.
He's here and I'm here.
I was stalking about in my room, smoking cigarettes.
And I was out there boxing with James Orange.
He saw Jesse Jackson. He said, "Jesse, you're not dressed for dinner." Jesse said, "I don't need a shirt and tie. I have an appetite. That's all I need."
They were about to leave, and they had said that it was cool and he probably needed a coat.
And I said, "You better go back and get a coat. You've had a cold."
So I turned and walked away to go down the stairs.
It was almost like he said, "I don't really need a coat, do I?"
And by the time I got 5 or 6 steps,
And he lifted his head like that to sort of test the wind.
the shot rang out.
I thought, it was a firecracker.
And I thought I heard a rifle shot.
Kapow!
And I dashed to the door.
People were ducking behind cars.
I see these people off to my right, a little cluster of people over there, and they're jumping up and down.
It was pandemonium.
And then I turn around, and when I turn around, then I can see Dr. King's laying there on the balcony.
He had been knocked from the railing back onto the floor of the balcony.
I ran up the balcony and ran across to where Martin Luther King was.
The police starting to run this way.
And when I got there, the only person there was Reverend Abernathy, and he had a towel.
And I ran up the stairs.
I knelt down beside him, and
He was flat on his back in a pool of blood.
I'm looking in Dr. King's face, and I see this massive wound, big as your fist.
And the bullet had just, I don't want to describe it.
The bullet had hit him right here on the tip of his chin, and it just took half of his neck off.
I'd never seen anything like it.
I don't think he even heard the shot or felt any pain.
I knew that this was very serious.
And it was obvious to me that he was gone.
And the police were coming, and I hollered to them, "Call an ambulance on your police radio. Dr. King has been shot."
So I ran off the balcony, ran down to that payphone.
And they said, "Where did the shot come from?"
We were telling the policeman to go back over there. We didn't know where the bullet came from.
But the distance wasn't that far.
Some people said they thought they saw smoke coming from the bushes.
You didn't have to be an expert. It wasn't that far.
I got my office in New York on the phone, and I gave him the first reports from the Lorraine.
He and Bernard decided they were not going to leave him when the paramedics came.
And we waited, and we waited.
And Ralph kept holding his head. Martin is Ralph. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Finally, the word came that we lost him. Maybe 3 or 4 hours later, we lost him. From laughter to tears in a millisecond.